So la ma dunzi jaso jo da ge jo be me da jo la ka ni jime ko ne je cha jo ni ba pa to je so san jo da so jo chen la cha jo ba don da jo da ge chi su ji ba da ge no la ben je san jo ba san jo da so jo chen la cha jo ba do da ni da ge chi ji be so la chen do la ben je san je do ba sho san jo da so jo chen la cha jo ba do da ni da ge chi ji ba da no la ben je san je do ba sho. Good evening. Okay, to begin with, many of us here are old Sangha, or that are familiar with. Some may be new, so I need to say this. As you can see, my English is limited, so I better beg pardon before I make mistakes. That you have to bear with me. And I certainly appreciate for this opportunity to share Dhamma with wonderful Sangha. I not only believe, I realize that many of you have enough Dhamma knowledge, Dhamma practice, Dhamma experience. But then, as is always does, every time there are some new Dhamma person joining the Sangha, so there might be some new ones too. So the purpose of our Dharma meeting, Dharma gathering is the key thing is to remind ourselves into Dhamma practice and to give a thought upon our practices that we have been doing, to overview our practices, our deeds, our daily behaviors, and try to think upon how to we apply those practices more effectively, more advanced, more deeper. How do we proceed into our Dharma journey? So this kind of gathering practice is very important. No matter what scripture you practice on, you're teaching, or what topic you teach, teaching, hearing, practicing, the key thing is to just kind of awake ourselves again into Dharma, because we are always lost into mundane activities. As Dharma person, as a Dharma practitioner, all of us try our best, but at the same time, there are always weaknesses occurs. We often end up doing stupid things, losing our tempers, this and that, because we are so much used to that. And I always say this to our friends whenever I meet, just to, as I said earlier, as a reminder. Right before the session, when we were sitting in the garden talking, some of our Sangha, we were talking about death and dying, and we were also talking about how do we handle with the word. Tracy, you use the word. What you said. You pick up the topic of dream, getting lost into the dream or something like that.
Oh, drifting off.
Drifting, okay, drifting off. See, drifting off in the dreams, right? So I just share my little practice, and I believe this will help, because it helps me. If we try to remember ourselves, to morning at the first time as you get up, before indulging into daily life, mundane things, as you get up in the bed, appreciate this precious life, and this, and then truly, not just sweet words, truly appreciate that I'm alive, I'm still alive, and today again I have this great opportunity to practice Dhamma, and then at least develop a mind, a good heart, that whatever I do today through body, mind, speech, I will do to benefit sentient beings, to help Dharma, preserve, prevail, and enhance further. I will try not to try not to indulge into negative activities, right? I will not go out of the boundary of our practice. So at least having that mind developed, take a kind of a commitment for the day at least. In the prayers we talk about until the Buddhahood, right? Until the Buddhahood we'll do this and that. That is very precious. No matter how much you can do, but having at least to have that kind of a intention developed, visualize that much itself is a very precious, great karma. But then in the practical, as you get up in the morning, if you could, your prayer session or your practice sessions may come later on. But to begin your day, if you develop a good intention that way, from that very moment, your Dharma practice, the accumulation of positive potential begins right there. And then you go through the day, and the evening, before going to the bed, do not go to the bed like animal. Just fall off and flat. No. As a human being, as we always say, we are so fortunate to have born into human being, and on top of that, we have met Dharma. We have met so great, precious teachers that we, so we should not behave like animal. Just fall off and go flat, Again, check through your day. What did you do? How was your behavior? It doesn't take a long time. Only important thing is you have to remember that. You have to take that as an important, act to begin with your day and to ending your day. To remember that, just check, and appreciate whatever you did good and bestow. And if you find something wrong, of course, purify, confess. And then develop, bodhicitta, Buddha mind, kind heart. And through that way, if you go to sleep, then your whole dream state, or your night, your sleeping time, how many hours you may sleep, goes into virtuous deed. And that is a big thing. At the same time, if you can go one step ahead, as you do, I believe most of you have your, excuse me of this behavior. I believe all of us have our own, some kind of guru yoga or whatever, Buddha sadhana or changes sadhana or whatever practice you have, your daily practice. Do a quick visualization, and as you go to bed, if your visualization ends up that you yourself dissolve into the Buddha or Guru or whatever practice you are visualizing into one. In that state, if you make yourself sleep, that practice will eventually help you at the death time, when you die. And if you do that practice regularly, often, every day, at the least time, as you do more, it will become your nature. It kind of easy to you. It become easy to you. It will come up without effort. So at the time of the death, this will help you. That practice will pop up itself. So that is very important for the ordinary people like ourselves. people who has higher tantra practice, higher yoga tantra practice in a meaningful way, who has developed a practice from step by step, from step by step, and lower vehicle, Sutrayana vehicle, Vajrayana vehicle, so step by step through the realization. Then if somebody really reach in a Vajrayana practice and then have those 6 yoga practice and so on, those are great. But normal people like ourselves, at least this practice, very simple practice, is very powerful. And this will be very, very helpful at the death time. Because death occurs from nowhere, without appointment. They take no appointment. So it's always good to be prepared. So those are the simple things that, oftentimes simple things are more useful, more beneficial. Now, today we're supposed to discuss on loving kindness, Tonglen, giving and taking. Really, very, very essence of Buddhist practice, very, very purpose of Buddhist practice are those things. So as I said earlier, there might be some new, may not have really gone into deep enough. So I just wanted to overview a little bit. The key thing, one of the things that is, we all believe ourselves Buddhist, especially us who are ordained and wearing all this, maroon robes. We all believe ourselves Buddhist. But sometimes there are questions arise. Not just having taken the vows or the robes, but there could be big in the society. There could be high up on the thrones. Still question arise if they are really Buddhist or not. In practice. So, we all believe that ourselves are Buddhist. So to check if ourselves are really have become a real true Buddhist or not, so we need to know what Buddhist means. Who is Buddhist? What Buddhist means? How somebody become a Buddhist? Formalities are there, rituals are there, performances there, but one has to come from within. One has to become from within, from the heart. Right? They are usually, one, going refuge to 3 gyms. One thing. And secondly, now my terminology, my made-up terminology, I don't know how does it work. 4 seals of the viewpoint. Right? So those 4 seals of the viewpoints one has to check if you are in there or not. Have you really realized on those things or not? And then the other matter, taking refuge in the three germs. And then, okay, going through the ceremonies, doing the rituals, those are easy. Those are easy, but if you ask a question within yourself, to your heart, have you really taken refuge in Buddha? Have you really taken refuge in Dharma? Have you really taken refuge in Sangha? If so, what are the obligations, or what are the commitments, what are the things that do and don't are there in taking refuge in Buddha, in taking refuge in Dharma, in taking refuge in Sangha, right? Those things are very, very important to check within. To have those things properly done, taking refuge in properly done, again, depends or relies upon having renunciation. Now, without renunciation, you cannot ever have a proper refuge. There's no way. You have to have a strong renunciation. Without having strong renunciation, you cannot have genuine, true refuge taken. Just impossible. Now, to have renunciation, it goes opposite way, right? To have a really, really pure renunciation, you need to know that the condition and nature of the Four Noble Truths, right? The sufferings, cause of suffering, cessation, the path. So these things are interrelated, right? So then, once you have realized in these things, then you have really a good foundation. Then you can really build up stories up to the Twin Towers height. You have really good foundation. But these things are very, very important. So, and then again, as we all know, taking refuge in Buddha. When we take refuge in Buddha, we do not see or take Buddha as an almighty God or something, right? We all know that. We take Buddha as a teacher. Buddha, we take refuge as anybody like a good teacher, good human being. He was a prince, right? He got ordained. He practiced. He developed his practice. He attained enlightenment. Then he said, I've overcome all the suffering. I'm here. And you can do that. He showed us the path, right? So, similarly, as we take Buddha, as Buddha means completely enlightened being. Even in our I can say, Tibetan world. Usually I say Tibetans are born Buddhist, because lots of culturally people are satisfied by having born in that community. They believe we are Buddhist, but know nothing. They don't really study, in Dharma, and they believe they do those small things, going to the temple and chanting few mantras and prayers and those things, but they do not really study hard, So those because of lack of studies, lack of deep knowledge, they often have funny beliefs. Buddha means some kind of they kind of after attainment of Buddhahood, they believe they become some kind of a superhero. I don't know, but they believe they are somewhere away, never back here with us, and that's completely wrong. The purpose of developing bodhicitta, is to help sentient beings. As you develop your Dhamma mileage, you attain your, how do you say, your higher level. Can I say that? You guys have to help me.
We're doing great.
They are supposed to come back and help sentient beings, right? Yeah. And similarly, of course, as we say prayers, as we develop our mind, in the prayers as we say, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of sentient beings, to help sentient beings. So after attaining Buddhahood means you are just with sentient beings. You are with the sentient beings to help sentient beings in any ways, any forms. Not necessarily one has to come with the Buddha Shakyamuni form, Any form, in any need to help sentient beings. Similarly, then we have, as we all know, the root of the path is Guru, the spiritual teacher. Then oftentimes, what I see in the like here, our prayers, are very much relevant. And oftentimes I've seen some other Western prayer texts. They, from the very beginning, they are taught like Guru is Buddha, Guru is Dhamma, Lama is Buddha, Lama is Sangha. Those words are very precious, but it has to come from heart. And then I doubt, will those things, what they say, does that really come from heart? Because their Dhamma education, Dhamma practice, Dhamma level are still very low, right? And then things that does not touch in your heart, simply saying from mouth, maybe good karma, I don't know. But in other words, it's lying simply. Right? Simply lying. So take your Buddha or Guru through their kindness, their value, to you. What you get from them, how important they are. Even a single Dhamma word that you hear that helps your heart, that gives you a more clarification, a brighter knowledge, even from one single, how valuable, how precious that is. Through the sense of gratitude, if you take, they are so precious, to give a respect, devotion. That is the pure thing. That's the truth. That has energy. There's a power, in that practice. Anything big, any big performance may you do, any big words you may say, if it doesn't touch here, doesn't make much difference in your develop in your heart. So then it may be an entertainment for sometimes. It has to work within. It has to work within, because we have to develop within. Right? That's very important. And then now we talk about loving kindness. There are many great teachings in different scriptures. Of course, from Ganges, from dangers, and great commentaries by great scholars, Indian scholars, Tibetan scholars, this and that. But those things are very good, especially those things were very good at the golden age. Nowadays, in this modern world, people are so, our minds are so corrupt, so polluted. The average, our minds are very much, in a way, monkey mind. So, to simply base on the faith system, it's a little difficult. That's my view. Also, again, I would say the reason behind my view is that not the rest of the spirituality or the religion of the world. Let's say it could be any religion. They are all based on faith. Right? Belief. While here in Buddhism, you have a system to explore. You apply logic behind. You have a right to explore by yourself until you realize. You don't really have to close your eyes and believe. So that really helps. Right? So if you just hold on some kind of believing system only, that is not really strong enough. That mind can change anytime. So always, whatever you learn, try to apply a logic behind try to explore by yourself, try to realize on what it says, try to make a sense out of it, so that your practice go cemented, strong. Those things are very important, I think. And now, Tonglen, giving and taking, right? As the word Tonglen, I think, is the quite famous in the not only in the Buddhist world, but even just out there. People, almost everybody knows Tonglen practice of Buddhism. So, Tonglen, right? But at the same time, there are a lot of people, when they hear Tonglen practice, they some kind of get into a fear. That some people ask questions that, Geshe, what if we give out everything, what remains with us? You know. So, one of the things that it has, I don't know, when Tibetan lamas, Rinpoches, Tulkus, Geshes, those who brought Dharma to the West in the early days, I don't know how did they taught everything together. Vajrayana, Four Noble Truth, here and that, everything together, like a buffet. Potluck. They brought Dharma into West in the potluck system, I guess. That's maybe I'm stupid. I'm wrong, but to me that I don't think that was really done properly, because we are followers of Buddha Shakyamuni. You know, that guy is our teacher, and he turned his first wheel of teaching for Noble Truth. He taught according to his own path steps. How did he do? Accordingly, he taught. Here, modern times bring everything, all you have, together as a potluck. Look, I have that, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this. Just everything out there. And people don't know what to eat first. Salad first, or bread first, or chocolate first, or whatever. They go the wrong way sometimes. So now Tonglen, when we talk about Tonglen, some people really get frightened. They say, "Oh, Geshe, if we give out everything, what remains with us?" So those things shows that our way of our teaching, Dharma teaching, were not really skillful. We did not really follow our teacher. So, as a practitioners ourselves, it's always good if we, let's say in practice, let's say in studies, if we follow the steps. That works much better. That works much better. Now in Tonglen, again, as I said, Tonglen, the practice is very popular in Tibetan Buddhism. And there are many great Tonglen practitioners who have been practicing Tonglen practice visualization their entire lifetime. But when there's a beggar comes, they cannot even give a penny. When there's somebody in need, you skip away. Right? When there's an animal in pain, you don't want to look at it. When there's somebody in trouble, you don't just want to involve into trouble. You walk away. Right? But when you sit, you visualize Tonglen your entire lifetime, giving everything out, taking everything in. So those practice. What it shows is that your practice has never been proper. Your practice never touched your heart. You and Dharma always been subject and object. Never really got, together. Dharma as an object, out there as a circuit play, you as a audience watching, having fun. You're able to, you know everything. You're able to talk everything. If you are asked to talk, you may talk for hours, right? But it never touched here. It's like a rock in the water. Put a rock in the water for 100 years, you pick up. It never, take water in, observe water in. So those things are very, very whatever minimum you can you practice, you try to practice from heart, try to put into practice, and step by step you go ahead. That will really help. Then if you do that, you will find yourself how much progress you are making in Dhamma practice. Months, years, you will see yourself development. That will help you even go further, go better. It encourages you, right? So I remember Gyabji Trijang Rinpoche, His Holiness Dalai Lama's junior tutor, Gyabji Trijang Rinpoche, in 1974 when it was, I think, early 74 or late 73. Trijang Rinpoche gave a teaching in Serache, Trijang Rinpoche gave a teaching at Tashilumpo. So one of those teachings. Now I forgot what I was saying. I forgot that, but remember something else. In 1974, so let me say what I remember right now, right? His Holiness, I think there was, since I joined the monastery, that was his first visit to Sera, when Sera Drepung Gade moved from east to south. Our Sera monastery was half built, construction going on, and His Holiness gave a teaching. Those days, I think we have hardly 400 monks, while now we have over 6,000 monks, right? Those days, hardly 400 monks, and many lay people also, lay community also sitting behind. And I was just newly joined, a very junior naughty monk, But when His Holiness is there, I really pay attention, word to word. So one thing that his word really hit it to me in my head was he kind of jokingly, with a joke, he went to the monastery community. He said, "You, the monastic communities, monks and nuns, don't be so proud having ordained. If you're not careful, you may be left behind all the sentient beings. When behind all the sentient beings, maybe the rest of the lay people, sentient beings, may be doing much better in practice than monastic, because you reluctant or neglect and having proud that I'm monk, I'm nun, I'm ordained, I'm great, right? So that from that on, that word always been in my head throughout my life. It always taught me that simple word, now I remember. I go back to the Phelgye Tejanamache. So Phelgye Tejanamache, one of his teaching, he said, he was talking about Tonglen, and then says, those who does not engage into practical and simply visualize in the meditation, Tonglen, give take in visualize. There is a danger for those be reborn into hungry ghost. He very seriously said that those are very likely to go into rebirth into hungry ghost, because you don't really practice in practical. Simply visualize, give, take, give. In your visualization, you can give everything, but in practical, you hardly give a penny, right? And then the practice of giving does not just mean material. There are so many things to give, right? Give healing, give protection. And there are so many. I mean, there are as much things to give, as much kind of sufferings are there in the world. To help. There are so many ways to help the suffering beings. There are so many things to give, not just material. So our self-centered mind, heart, my is so strong that you truly do not want to involve it into any problem. If there goes some kind of problem, robbery, fire, this and that problem, or there's an accident, or there's some kind of conflict over there, you don't want to go nearby because you don't want to get into trouble. You just skip away from afar, right? But there may be somebody dying over there. Somebody really need help, but you don't want to get into trouble. If there's a good person, you just give a look what you can do if there's somebody truly in big trouble, right? And that's the giving, right? Giving protection, giving healing, and give so on. There are so many things to give. Practical. But again, then there are somebody not really gone through practical step practice, but suddenly hearing a good Dharma teaching, like a story of Milarepa, then suddenly they are so much kind of excited, or become so much emotional, and then they wanted to do big things right away. And that's also not a skillful practice. There are people like, I can do anything, I can live my life stuff, but those things are impractical, very difficult, and while indulging into that kind of big sacrificing practice, at any moment, if you have even a tiny bit of regret or something, then whole practice, whole effort is washed out, right? If you have a big tanker full of oil, milk, whatever, but if there is a little hole, then whole thing is gone, So practices are always very important to do step by step, and most importantly, as you say in the prayers, as you visualize in the meditation, try to put into practice how much you can. And that is really very, very healthy practice. In other words, now, good meditators, when you really, through the meditation, like breathing meditation, oftentimes, like nowadays, meditation, I think, is very, very popular, the word meditation. I think every human being knows that, meditation. Regardless how much they know about meditation, but they know meditation, right? And like when I was a kid, I was small. As I said, as a born Buddhist, having born in Tibet, you naturally, do all sort of things that everybody does, right? Go to temple and sit and take part into all kind of practice and stuff. And so you do. You go with your parents, you go with other people, and go and sit. Nothing here, completely blank, just sit. And then watch what others doing. I can sit back, And then you do all kind of physical prostration, but nothing here, hollow, completely, right? And then you go do all kind of gestures, as a human being, you know what everybody does. You do that, but nothing is here, completely hollow, right? So we do not want to waste our time and effort that way, right? Try to properly use every moment, every effort that you spend on, try to use it properly. So, in breathing, usually in breathing, nowadays it's a pranam yoga. It's becoming very, very famous, breathing. It's also very good with the health also. But in Buddhist practice, even though if you are doing that practice in the sense of yoga, as being a Buddhist, you can apply this into our Tonglen practice, right? Breathe out, giving practice, breathe in, taking practice, right? And go slowly, back and forth, right? Now, in giving practice, as I said, there are so many things you can visualize in giving practice. So, but the most powerful practice would be that practically whatever you can do that first. What is truth to you? Begin the practice from there, then expand. Right? To me, even the mandala we just read, right? Mount Meru stuff. That's not practical to me. That Mount Meru mandala is not practical to me. But Tibetans does that. Yeah, if you debate that, then you may have things to say. You cannot really deny not having Mount Meru. But then it's not only I don't know. I like the other mandala. Dashin Lunga Yusum. Myself and others, body, speech, mind, all wealth. Remember that mandala?
The objects of attachment, aversion, ignorance, friends, enemies, and strangers, my body, wealth.
Yeah.
Enjoyment.
Yeah. That is practical. That is practical. That's what you can actually truly do. So even in Tongling practice, if you can begin from practical, which is truth to you, you feel that's truth, then you can, as you go further, you can expand visualization, wide and deep. And then that makes the practice powerful. And then again, taking the suffering from other beings, right? Taking the suffering from other beings. Now, when like our Sangha people here, if you are advanced enough in taking sufferings from other beings, then you're okay. But a beginner American will find it difficult to taking suffering from other beings. They find it difficult not just taking suffering from other beings, but just to talk about suffering. They find it hard, right? In the back in our monastery, I think it was in early 80s or something, we used to hear stories from the West, those teachers who, go back. We heard that somebody was teaching at a teaching, and he started talking about Four Noble Truths, suffering, cause of suffering. And people walk up. People say, we didn't come here to have more sufferings, We have enough sufferings out there. Right? So that's in a way it's a cultural difference, right? And recently I was putting some prayers together, doing some translation stuff, and I was using the word. To me, somehow, the word sin was more appropriate. So I used the sin, and somebody says, "Geshe, you can't use this word." Western people doesn't like this. He advised me to use the word evil instead of sin. No? really very, very complex. It's very difficult situation, you know. There are so many books available, so many translations available. When you buy two different books together, compared together, it's very hard to say this is right, this is right. You always find some mistakes, some kind of misinformation out there. You know, people try to translate literally. When you try to translate into literally, you lose the meaning, the message behind. When you try to bring the message properly, you lose the literary translation. And there are so many translators, right? In the same text, if you say the main text put here, and then bring three different translations, all are different out there. The wordings, you know. And then when you change the wording, say I change the wording. I have a picture, an idea in my head while changing, okay, this is more appropriate. But it's not necessarily you have my idea in your head. When you read, you may take a different way, you know. So it's the translation is very different. So then a new reader is not the translator. As new reader, when read this translation, they obviously find different message out there, you know. It's a very, very difficult. So normally when people ask, like new beginners, they say, "Oh, I'm very much interested in Buddhism, and how should I proceed? What book I read?" I always say, you go for His Holiness books, Dalai Lama's books. We can expect the best, right? He has the best translators. Even then, we cannot 100% guarantee, but still, that is the best possible. Because we find so many books, and then, language is a problem. Like I'm facing. Okay. So, and then there are some people, in order to take, okay, so, I am losing in the point. So, we really need to practice our mind before practicing Tonglen, giving and taking. We really have to, practice our mind strong enough to be able to take, right? How can you say this?
That's exactly right. That was exactly mind strong.
Okay, we have to strengthen our mind through understanding, or also like how to say suffering resistance. No,
Fortitude. Yeah. Courage.
Like you say, what's the resistance?
Resistance is not wanting.
Okay, refusing, huh?
Yeah. Our resolve.
Okay, no. Things that build our mind stronger, that doesn't bother by hearing and seeing suffering.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Here in the West, like another thing is that the word guilt and guilty, there's another problem in the West, right? People don't want to feel oneself guilty, or want to give anything about guilt. So these things are nothing to do with with individuals or the nature of human being or nothing. Nature of a human being are all same. Nature of sentient beings are all same, Buddha nature. This is just cultural oriented, because this culture, the entire culture is very much Christian oriented, Christian belief oriented. So as soon as you hit the word sin, you have so much painful, thought, memory or thinking popping up your head that this is kind of a, really going down to hell, right? Something like that, right? This just this cultural problem, because we have that kind of born belief. Those beliefs comes with as you grow up, you hear those things, and that sticks in your head, right? It's nothing. There's nothing wrong with the individual or the nature of the human being, but this cultural thing. So in Buddhist practice, because you say you are your own enemy, you are your own refuge, so it's the only way to purify oneself or develop your practice is to identify the wrong intentions, wrong views, wrong attitudes, to try to watch within, to try to find as many problems we have. Not only just accept, but then try to watch within once more and more that, and then try to tame them down. Try to purify oneself, try to overcome with those problems, right? This is how we proceed, this is how we improve ourselves. And then the end of the improvement is enlightenment. Right? That's what we call enlightenment. That's what it is, Buddhahood. The final improvement. So, taking suffering, in order to be able to take suffering, visualize, again I say, simply visualize in the air, in the cloudy realm, not here. You put your visualizations up in the air, in the cloud realm, very easy. You don't have to feel anything. Make a huge, beautiful thing up there, and work over there. There. Whether it is the happiness, whether this is the painful, it doesn't touch you. But if you practice through within your heart, you have to play from here within. That means you have to build your heart strong enough to actually take the pains. To be able to do that, before taking, actually you have to feel the sufferings of the suffering beings, right? And then in the scriptures we talk about 8 hot hills, 8 cold hills, this and that, all the kind of. So now I won't go in this because this will be so long. So now, the practical thing that we don't really need to go and visualize the hells. We have enough sufferings to look around in this world, right? We have enough sufferings within all this human realm. So many conflicts, so many wars, so many illnesses. Every now and there comes a new chronic sicknesses, and this and that. And the most problem, most popular problem in the West here, America, what I come to hear is cancer, right? Seems like almost everybody who get an unusual sickness, that is cancer. The doctors keep saying you have cancer, you have to do operation, this and that. Just, they really kind of frighten. They make, frightened. Can I say, how to say? They make people terrified. Scared, too much scared. And then, having done this, even though somebody does not have that terrible situation, it makes it happen. Because you are so terrified, so disturbed, you almost accept the defeat. Oh, what am I going to do, When you're mentally, if you accept defeat or terrified, then your body gives up. Because body is follower of yourself. You have to hold the strength. You have to always, see the optimistic. And if your mental strength holds on, your body will follow it. Body will keep the good condition. But if you kind of accept the defeat, terrified, then your body will drop the weapons first. Right? So here, I don't know. They keep saying those things. Doctors say this. But, like me, I was told, liver cirrhosis, like, I don't know, 10 years back. Then later I was told I have cancer, But then last year in 2008, when I went through a complete examination, they say I'm okay. They say you are completely okay. I had this thick file, my medical record, over the 10, 12 years, So they gone through everything. They says, Geshe, if you look through your record, it's impossible that, you can't be living by this time. And they says, but my test shows you're completely okay. This is miracle. So it's very, very important is that always we have to live positive, think, be optimistic, hold the strength, believe in karma. When somebody frightens you, don't be terrified, but think what are the other ways, to help yourself. I think this is very, very important because I think it's another problem is that I could be wrong, Also, I do believe that I'm wrong in many ways, but because of the materialism, too much materialism, everything is concerned of material, money. Nowadays, everything is scaled on material, scaled on money. So, I think even the hospitals, doctors, they want more business. So even somebody have a headache, they may call you, oh, you have to do endoscopy, you have to do CAT scan. You may have brain tumor. So all these things they do,
and just through the sense of how do I make more money? How do I get money from people? Not really through the attitude of compassion, trying to help heal this suffering being, So these things are just, we have so much concern, so much importance into material. On the other hand, we lose the ethical values, moral values. We lose human values. Just material. So, very important that, again, it's not important to have a banner or level of Buddhist. Not important. But to take the teaching, the good teachings, what Buddhism teaches, to take benefit from that is more important. And whatever benefit you get, you pass this away, word to word. That's how we spread the good message, try to heal this world. It's not necessary to say I'm Buddhist, or one has to have a Buddhist level. No, not important. Right? But to heal through Dharma, let it be in any form, in any culture, and let them wear any hat, doesn't matter. But if we can help through Dharma change their attitude, turn them into a better person, that is important, right? So we all know these kind of problems that we are just talking. We see those things in this culture, and since we are here, like Buddha Shakyamuni did. Buddha Shakyamuni, when he was born in the Shakya dynasty, there was no Buddhism before that, right? As he saw all this kind of suffering, he set out to search of the truth. All he met was all different kind of Hindu schools all around. So none of those spiritual teachings, made him satisfied, or he found truth in, and this is how he proceeded, right? And then he attained enlightenment. He taught us. Similarly, whatever we learn from Buddha Dharma, good qualities, good teachings, if you feel it benefits me, it helps me, you share it to others, pass it, 3 more people, 5 more people, We don't need. It's not, as I said, it's not important somebody has to have a Buddhist label on their forehead. We don't need them to wear a Buddhist hat on. Not important. Important is to be a good person. Take the essence of teachings into their practice. Right? That is important. Maybe I'm talking too much. Okay. Thank you. So, we have some time. Please share with me whatever question you have. Yes.
So, Geshe, I was telling you earlier this evening I have a bunch of cats that I take care of, and I see them suffering. Sometimes I have one particular cat that's afraid of everything, and so how can I apply? When I try to comfort her, how can I make that practice more powerful in the giving and taking? I mean, I see her suffering, I pick her up, and I try to make her feel better, but that's where it stops. Is there something else I can do?
Of course. I mean, one thing, let me appreciate you, that I heard you have how many cats and dogs?
Well, I have 8 permanent and then a bunch of others that come and go.
See? And those, I believe those are not that you keep those ones out of desire attachment as a pet, as your companion. You take those ones out of your compassion. And that is what it makes it so precious. And that's why I wanted to appreciate you. People have pets, nothing special. These things are out of their desire attachment. They feel like I need a companion. I love this. This is beautiful. It's nothing special. It's not an practice or deed of pure compassion. When you do something out of real compassion, means seeing their sufferings in order to help them pick up those. That is real practice, and I appreciate you. Thank you. And you said you can give them comfort, and that ends there. No, that doesn't end there. You do really great job. Then, of course, that is the practical part. You're doing, what you can do, right? That's the best anyone can do, Then that's a practical thing. And now in the spiritual part, of course, you can always, especially develop compassion, for these beings. Unfortunately, out of their some kind of unfortunate karma, they're born in, this miserable realm, and we don't know how many more lives they will reborn into. What kind of lives? We don't know, right?
Right.
We even don't know what we will be in next lifetime.
Right.
But at the moment, concerning these suffering beings, you just develop compassion to us, and then just pray for them and purify for them. Okay, how to say, representing for them. Okay, purify for them. And actually, you can hold them as the seed, but then always visualize the rest of sentient beings. It always makes more powerful. As much bigger image you have, practice goes more powerful. But it has to come from here, right?
Right.
So, and then of course giving, taking, and then you can always do the giving, taking practice, right? All the virtuous wealth, bestow for them, take all their whatever, their unfortunate negative karma, take oneself. Yeah, and then always not simply just pushing. No, pushing doesn't work. And then as I said, it's my feeling. I said, at the golden age, those days, you may not need to explore much, verify much. Just hold on faith. That was great. You can you may survive just holding on faith. But these days, modern world, we are so monkey mind. You have so many thoughts, so many things, crazy things are there. And so it's always good to study, verify, and bring some kind of apply some logic, and bring anything into some kind of realization that you can really, your heart can hold on, right? Then your practice goes strong. Like a good glue sticks better, right? Okay, thank you. Any more question, please? No question? Okay. No question in na? To Geshe. Oh yeah. Okay. We are here.
So the dedication prayer on the page, the second page.
Yeah, before that, one second, huh? As I was saying earlier, every time, no matter, see, prayers and dedications are not belongs to a formal gathering or formal practice. You can do practice prayers and dedications on every good deeds, right? Normally in our culture you do those things only when you have some kind of ceremonial formal practice, then you do the prayers, you do the dedication. It becomes a ritual. So it's not, prayers and dedications are not copyright to ceremonial things. You can always utilize those things. Whatever good deed you do in your daily lifetime, giving comfort to somebody, giving a little help to somebody, giving a little support to somebody, sharing a good word to somebody, any good thing that you do, you can always say prayers, dedicate that merit, and make it more powerful. And that is real practice. Practical, to me, practical doing things is much more powerful, real, than simply visualizing. Visualization practice is powerful only then when we are there, that level. We build from Four Noble to up to step by step, entire, like Sutrayana practice, like, from the compassion, bodhicitta, we build up, really strong up. Then you step into the Vajrayana practice, Then if your building is strong from the foundation up there, and then your visualization makes some meaning. Whatever you visualize, that actually holds here. And then you can progress right from there. But before that, simply visualizing is like visualizing things like telling tales to the children, right? Once upon a time they are used to this and that. It feels good, doesn't mean much, right? So the prayers and dedication is very important. You can always do whatever good deed you do, not necessarily only when the formal Dhamma practice, right? Very important. I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
There's a question from somebody on the internet.
Oh yeah, please.
If I do Tonglen, do I really help the other person or just myself?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a very good question. Oftentimes, that also depends upon how powerful your practice is, how your practice level is. Of course, on the first step, the immediate thing is it does help you. Of course, I think whoever is asking has a good understanding. But then, of course, if you you really do from your wholeheartedly genuine, and if you have some kind of a energy, can I say energy, power, through your constant practice, the other people feels that. The vibration, other people, whoever you're practicing, you're giving the practice to, they will feel it. Healing goes. Vibration is there. But those things does not just occur like this, It really need a constant, pure practice to develop one's own, power. Practice power, right? Develop, really make it stronger, right? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So all the more reason to put it into practical practice.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's really, see, all the teachings, meditations, chanting prayers, all different kind of varieties of forms of practices meant to tame our mind, right? Why tame our mind is be good. The purpose of taming our mind is to be good, to stay away from evil, to be good, to be a good person, to be compassionate, right? So the final goal is good action, good action. Good action comes from good thought, good intention, and good thought, intention has to come from practice. And these, all kind of different formalities of the Dhamma practice are to remind ourselves, to keep us awake or alert, right? Knock knock. So that's why any practice, when I say it has to come from, it has to touch your heart, then it works. It really, like you're watering the plant, right? A tiny little plant over there, you water from here, you don't know if water is going there or not, just in the air, like a beautiful fountain out there. It looks good, but I don't know how many water really go to the plant, right? So that is important. You make sure that the plant gets enough water, not too much, not too less, But just having a beautiful fountain does not mean plants really get water, right? So that's important. Thank you. Too much blah blah.
Thank you. Tenerendo bella sognare kadema kashi sabana ame marake nyu to akona jawa mata. Tere mazu besere kundu yanja be yanga zebe jisone tembere makunza lam jisune de bejina ni juranga ji de beram ni shura zebe ta beta ko jindo ye jime basin. Debe de mayuni zun ji de mere je de maja ba cha jenya ba je be chune ninje chembe yere ju ba pende de sever cheba ju sije je menyu tele le ru jam ju lam ju me tan nam ji la be de je lamsan jube tunje kundu jinge je si jime da me me ga sere kundu je nga wa nam da lan de ba ma ju ji kan se de ba ju lo ji ju su ju lo zamba de Today namji tatu choji jin tashi jazu chogun chabjur je janju simjur amachi majibana jin jewa nyama me kone kundu pewa ju tada kunji manum dubjur je. Thank you very much.